What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spotlight by CG Roofless, man. Let's welcome my special guests from East Texas A&M, wide receiver, Micaleous Elder, man. How's it going, bro?
It's good. It's going good. What's up, my guy?
Oh, what's going on, man? So, for those people who are not familiar with you, man, tell me about yourself.
My name's Micaleous Elder. I'm from Cleveland, Tennessee. Out here in East Tennessee. Small town guy. Had to work for everything I got. That's pretty much it. Interesting person. Love to have fun, work hard, and get my goals done.
Okay, so what got you into football in the early age, man?
Basically, growing up in a small town, we don't really have that many options, as far as like what to do. So started off playing coming from a family of sports, uncles and cousins playing sports, watching my older brother play sports. I started playing like little league football when I was 4 years old. And I kind of started off nervous and scared, as most kids play. But once I got the hang of it and once I scored my first touchdown, I was like, yeah, I like playing this game. So I just stayed with it.
Oh, yeah. Once you get the love of the game, man, it starts to become an addiction.
Yeah.
So, what other positions did you play besides wide receiver?
Actually, I was running back my whole life. Running back, and I played cornerback on defense and safety. I didn't start playing receiver until like my senior year of high school.
Okay, so you played a lot of stuff on the field, played some DB, played some running back, and then you played wide receiver. So that's pretty much what got you into college.
Yeah, most likely, most definitely like just an athlete, all around athlete.
So what was the offers like going like coming out of high school? Was there like any other teams or no?
So like, all right, out of Cleveland, we didn't really have like that much of a media buzz, I guess. So we didn't like have a lot of attention in the recruiting process. So I transferred my senior year to Nashville area, Murfreesboro area, Blackman High School, and that's when I started to pick up like a little bit of buzz and stuff like that. I got my first offer from Tulane University, and then they start rolling in from the FBS level, as far as like Conference USA, conference like Charlotte, Tulane, MTSU, uh, Western Kentucky, things in that whole little area just start coming in.
So what led you to go to East Texas A&M? What was intriguing about going over there?
So I can tell you the whole journey. So basically, 2019, I ended up committing and not committing, but going to University of Charlotte, North Carolina, Charlotte, and I played as a true freshman. And I played the COVID year too, 2020, which was
So it
my
had to be a challenging year during the COVID year, huh?
yeah, real challenging as far as like mentally and stuff like that. We had players opting out, we had a lot of restrictions, games being canceled and things in that nature. But I played through the season and stuff. So after the COVID season, I had a good year. Um, and I have a daughter back at home, so I was trying to figure out how I could help with that situation, as far as like getting closer or whatever. So I wanted to get in the transfer portal and like see if I could go bigger. If not, maybe play back at home somewhere. And like after the COVID year, I transferred 2021. Like I got in the transfer portal like real late, probably around like the end of spring or somewhere around that area. So it was kind of difficult of getting an offer because, like I said, that COVID year, players got the extra year back. So there wasn't like a lot of area for like players to get offers. So a lot of people got stuck in the portal. A lot of people didn't get picked up or whatever. So I ended up not getting a scholarship 2021. I ended up walking on to Middle Tennessee State University, where I came in like around, I think, like the second week of fall camp. So it was like limited time for me to like earn a spot, earn a starting position, stuff like that, and things in those natures. Mind you, we played them the year before to where, at Charlotte. So I was kind of familiar, and they was already familiar with me too, because I was committed to them my senior year of high school. And I ended up decommitting and going to Charlotte. So once I went to MTSU that 2021 year, walked on, head coach was like, he liked me and stuff like that. I was working hard and things of those nature. I ended up hyperextending my knee like week 4 or whatever. And I was like, man, I don't have a scholarship. I'm not like getting any money out of this situation to take care of what I got to take care of back at home. it just got real. It got real dark. Because I went from starting my freshman year, starting my sophomore year, to just sitting back, which I always been like an underdog. So that wasn't really the hard part for me. The hard part was more like not being financially stable in those situations. So I was like, man, maybe I need to just get myself together. Take a break, get things in
Well,
order.
well, it had to be a lot challenging for you during the COVID year, and especially being a father, man. You had to do as much as you can to provide, but plus it was a lot of challenging. Going from Charlotte for that time being, it was like a new program, right? They're still kind of a new program from the looks of it.
Yeah, yeah. But when we got there, it was definitely a new program, as far as like, and a new head coach, which was Will Healy, and that was his first year, my freshman year, and then sophomore was his second year, and then my receiver coach ended up leaving, getting a new job and stuff like that. So it was a lot going on, a lot.
Okay, so what was the environment playing at Charlotte when you first went there and until the end of the time you played there?
Uh, I'm not. It was actually like it was good. Like, it was real. It was a lot, man. Because coming in as a true freshman is a lot. It's on the player itself. So when I came in, I was like, I wouldn't say I was nervous because I stood up to all competition, but like the environment was like, it was great for like the fans and then like the coaches. But most of the program itself, like I said, the coaches were still trying to learn the program and stuff like that. That was their first year there and stuff like that. So it was kind of just like, just go with the flow basically, and just go out there and do what I do, and that's basically how I went about it.
I mean, the opportunity presented itself, but it led you to eventually go to East Texas A&M. So, what was the atmosphere from going to that program after that?
So I sat out 2022. I set out that year. I stayed at home, got stuff in order, got myself together. And 23 came, and the receiver, he was an intern for the receiver coach, and he ended up getting a job at East Texas. And he seen that I was in the portal, so basically he hit me up or whatever. He seen that I was trying to get back, into the game, and he brought me out there. And basically the transition wasn't really wasn't different because, like, as a player, whenever you step on the field, it's like it don't matter where I'm at. I'm just gonna play, my best or whatever. So when I got to Texas, it was like Texas itself is a football state. That's well known for like football players. So when I got there, it was kind of like everybody was already on the same page. We working hard. Everybody wants to, do their best, and it was good. Like, I mean, it wasn't really no different as far as like I could say like media wise and maybe like just like the number of fans, but like far as like the football environment, it was still competitive football.
Yeah, it's pretty competitive in the state of Texas. Like everything in Texas is pretty big. Everything in schools, like competitive wise, man, they take it very seriously down there.
Yeah.
So, so outside of football, who are you as a person?
Outside of me as a person, outside of football, I'm basically like, you know, I'm an outgoing person. Sometimes I can be to myself, but far as like, I don't really do too much, because as a football player, we gotta watch what we do, watch where we at and stuff like that, and our image and stuff. So me as a person, I feel like I'm a down to earth person. I'm never gonna lead nobody the wrong way and stuff like that. I do the right things even when people not watching. So it's like, I just kind of stay to myself kind of sometimes. So I don't know. It's basically me. Me having a daughter and stuff like that. I just basically focus on my daughter and spend time with her when I can. Basically, I just work out, and that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, it's got to be like part of the most best thing to have in your life is to be a father and actually be the better person that you can be.
Yeah, because coming from like being a young man or a teenager, I had to grow up real fast. So it's
Yeah.
like she's a part of the process, basically, of this whole my whole little journey. So it's kind
That
of it made me.
motivation pushes you more in with her. That's what makes you want to do better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I kind of was like, it's kind of harder. I'm more harder on myself than others sometimes, just as far as like having to sit out or sit back and be patient. Cause it's like I'm such as father driven. Like, man, I gotta make something happen. I gotta do this, do that. I gotta get that for her, this and that. So it kind of like pushes me to to an extra limit.
Yeah. You have to grow up fast once you have a child. It's like more responsibilities at the end of the day. But when you grow up as a kid, man, we all go from this. We didn't have too much pressure, but now that you have a child, it's more like, what can I do to be better for this child,
Right,
and what can I do to make sure she don't have to go through that path.
right.
That's just how we look at it. But yeah, it's kind of it's a blessing to have a child, and it can be challenging at the same time. Balance, schedule balance and all that other stuff. How do you deal with your own schedule balance from academics to family to playing football, man? How do you balance that?
Man, like they said, man, the process 10% talent, 90% mental. So basically, it's just like I also got a good support system. I got a mom and dad in my life, so I got a big family. They help out a lot with with my daughter in that situation too. So it kind of takes a little bit of pressure off my back. And like school wise, it's just like, man, it's like either you're gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. Simple as that. It's basically what it comes down to. And if you want it, you know, you're gonna do it basically. And it's just gonna test how bad you want it basically. So that's kind of the balance. It's challenging. I ain't gonna say it's easy because sometimes, like I said, I wouldn't get homesick, but I feel like, hey man, I'm doing this, and is it for me or is it for her? You know what I'm saying? Like, because as a father, like
Gotta
you
think
said,
of
our
both
fathers
ways.
got to think of both, and it's like, man, it's not about me no more. But then it's
Oh, it's
hard
about
to
her at the end of the day.
exactly, and as a player, it's like you have to think about you, and then at the same time, it's like it's kind of hard to balance out. So it's like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why I
It
said
can be. Yeah.
that's where
Yeah, it
God
can be
comes
very
in line.
challenging. It can be very challenging how you do it, but somehow if you're able to manage it, it's just kind of hard. It's not as easy as people think it is.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. But I mean, like, you got to be strong minded. That's a football player all around. We're very strong minded. We deal with a lot of stuff going on. Like a lot of players, a lot of people in general in life. Everybody have problems. So it's like I just give it to God, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, we all have our problems, but we just try to go through the day is like how it is.
Yeah.
So we'll do a couple rapid fire questions. As far as like a game console, what are you, PlayStation or Xbox?
Start off Xbox. Now I'm on the PlayStation.
Oh, you can't go wrong with either choice. I mean, okay, so since you're a game console person, would it be Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto?
Call of Duty, most definitely.
Okay, see, now we're starting to know a little bit about you. Okay, even for a cheat meal, what would you have, McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's.
Okay, the nuggets, the breakfast. I guess you can't go wrong with those choices. I mean,
Yeah, most definitely. Most more on the breakfast side. You know, a biscuit, McGriddle, or something like that.
yeah. So let's say you're going on a budget shopping or something like let's say Walmart or Target. Which one would you go to?
I gotta keep it, generic. I'm gonna go with Walmart.
Okay, prices, can't go wrong with those. I mean, you can get a pretty nice deal off of that stuff. So, as far as like another cheap meal drink, for soda wise, I know this debate's been talked for a long time. What's better, Coke or Pepsi?
Definitely Coke. Even though I don't drink soda, definitely
Yeah,
Coke.
me either. Only did this one.
Yeah, most likely juices and water.
Yeah, a lot of water or at least some sparkle water stuff that's similar to soda. It's a replacement. It's at least more healthier.
Yeah,
Okay, so as far as like let's get on to like the common sense stuff, how you deal with stuff on the football field. Let's say you guys have a quitter on the football team. How do you deal with circumstances with a teammate who's just not solo on the team and it's during the game? How do you deal with that?
basically you're asking like how you deal with a person that's like not bought in when
Yeah.
during the game. Okay, so basically, you know, everybody in college is, well, I ain't gonna say everybody, but most likely everyone that's D1, or it doesn't matter what division, but if you're not bought in, then somebody behind you wants your spot, and they've been working twice as hard or just as hard as you. So like if you're not bought in, during game time or practice or whatever, then it's just like as a whole. I mean, we're gonna try to pick you up or bring you on, but like if you're not bought in, we don't have time. The train gonna keep on going. So either you gonna hop on the train or you're gonna miss your ride.
Yeah, good point. Like if they're not into it, if they're not sold with it, and it's during a game and we need them, then what's the point of being here? It's just
Yeah.
we all have that at times. It's rarely you rarely get those kind of players. But let's say it's a game like the heat of the moment. Let's say your quarterback and your other wide receiver are just not on the same page. They go into an altercation on the sidelines. How do you deal with it as a leader? How do you deal with the situation like that?
Uh, Depending on their relationship, because sometimes just because another player on the field is like not connecting or going at it, doesn't mean it's such a bad thing. Like sometimes that's what it takes for them to catch their spark. So as a leader, it just depends on the situation. I would basically tell them like, hey, like man, we're in this together. We can't just do this alone. It's not just about you or the quarterback, or it's a whole 11-man game on both sides. So it's like either we all gonna move as one, because at the offense, the more the offense moves as one, like one unit, that's the better the offense. Just like the Chiefs, they move as one unit, and that's what makes them so great. So I would just tell them like, man, we don't have time for all the emotions right now. Either we gonna get this win, or we just gonna sit back and let y'all pity pat about some things that we can't control. We got to move on to the next play. That's just basic football.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. We got to move on to the next play and erase that play, or just try to get on the same page, or maybe just separate those two for a minute and make sure things are cool and all that stuff. So
Yeah, that's what practice is for, and watching film. Like y'all can have this debate during meetings or after meetings, stuff like that.
absolutely,
During the game, we don't have time for that. So
yeah, we don't got no time for that. But let's say you guys are down by multiple touchdowns going into halftime. What would be the best pep talk to get this team to come from behind to win this ball game?
first, to start off as the game's not over. We're gonna come back out here as if it's 0-0. So if we're down by 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns, whatever it is, coming back from halftime, we still got enough. Just like they just put up touchdowns, we got enough time to put up those touchdowns plus another one to win the game. So we're gonna go out here and we're gonna act like that first half wasn't even a thing. And if we're gonna let it affect us, we're gonna let it give us a spark. We're not gonna let us put us down. So the biggest thing is energy. The sidelines has to be engaged, coaches have to be engaged. Like there's no just if you're not playing, just sitting back. No, we need you to talk to the defense while we're out there on offense, or the offense talking to the hyping the defense up while they're out there on the field. Like it takes, like I said, it takes a whole. So far as like just coming back from down from touchdowns, it's like, man, don't get too overwhelmed. Just do what we do. Like I said, moving as one, completing little small steps, and then boom, it's gonna pop. We get a touchdown. Now we're down by 2. Now we hyping, and the offense come off the field. We hyping the defense, so we're not just sitting back and thinking like, oh man, we already lost the game. Because most of the time, it's already, like I said, it's mental. Like if you lose in your head already, the game's already over. Before the game's over, if we already thinking we lost, we lost. So it's like you gotta keep the faith and the motivation up throughout the game until the last seconds of the game, and that's what it sometimes come down to.
Absolutely. Like you just got to take it one play at a time. And if you want it or not, we got 2 quarters left. The game ain't over until the fat lady sings, like they say.
Right.
Yeah. So, what NFL teams have you met with before this interview?
So like throughout my college career, I haven't really met with, but I got some interactions from the Packers, the Giants, and at my pro day, the Cowboy Scout was there March 7th. So I mean, they was pretty interested. I just signed my agent like three weeks ago, so he's trying to promote me out there and stuff like that. 'Cause like I said, like after the little Charlotte buzz I had and being in the portal, like I said, time's gonna keep going and people's not gonna wait. So I kind of like died down from like the media. So it's kind of like just putting my name back out there and getting me back out there. As far as like athletic side, like athletic like wise, man, I can compete with the best.
I'm pretty sure you could because, I mean, your skills and all that speaks for itself. I mean, doesn't matter what competition you come from, as long as you can play, the NFL is going to find you regardless.
Right. And that's what I wanted to come down to, as far as like me as a player, because I done been around a lot of good players, and you know, they've told me themselves like, man, they wish they had my talent, and it's just a matter of time until the world sees,
Yeah. The
sees me.
opportunities present itself. I mean, you've had many years of college. You're very seasoned, so you got the most experience. So usually the NFL likes those more experienced guys.
Yeah.
Being more of a receiver and you got the return ability, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was gonna ask you this. So why should NFL teams draft you, man?
I'm gonna say this with confidence. Why NFL team should draft me? For most definitely, speed kills. That's what the game is changing to. But I'm more of a versatile player. I can go from running back, I can go from receiver, I can go from punt return, I can go from kick return, I can play defense. So like whatever franchise wants to make their offensive skill set just more dangerous, if they add me to it, it's just like having Tyreek Hill or a Turpin somewhere in that nature, or Tavon Austin. So like, and basically I know how to, I fit right in with the receivers. I fit right in with the running backs. Whatever skill sets on the field that's just like fast, speed, quick, I bring all of that to the table. And I also can jump and catch. I have no limit. The only thing that I can say that limits me is maybe my height. I'm only 5'9".
I mean, you make up for that size. I mean, it's not. It's like you make up with the talent you got on the field. I mean, sure, the production is what it is, but I think the more they watch your film, the more they're going to see that you got, like you just said, you're a versatile piece. So there may be different ways they can use you, man.
Right. And I understand like offense. I understand the game. It's a game of inches. So, like I said, it's 10% talent, 90% mental. So like when it gets to the NFL, everybody's talented. Everybody's the fastest, quickest, strongest. So
Yeah,
it's
they are quick and
about like
strong. So you're going to have that type of challenge compared to what you have in college. So who do
right.
you model yourself after, like in the position you play?
Uh, I be I usually I take from other people like Tyreek Hill, far as Tavon Austin, Odell Beckham from the receiver room, Barry Sanders from the running back room. I just watch, all those type of guys. Deion Sanders from the cornerback position. Just all of those, like their style. DeAnthony Thomas. It's kind of like a mixture of everything. Plus what I bring to the table and my knowledge of games. So it's like all those little players in that kind of like category. That's who I make my game after.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can see why you would model your game after those guys because they're just talented in different ways. So how do you prepare for your upcoming games and how do you study against your opponents and how do you do your tendency on their weakness and all that stuff if you watch the film?
Okay, so basically, as a receiver room, or receiver and quarterback room, because we know we're one unit. Um, from receiver standpoint, we basically look at coverages and what they do in certain like down the distances, as far as like first down, what coverage they're in most of the time or throughout the game. Uh, third downs, which is a critical down, you know, and we just basically scheme off of like what defense they are in most of the game. So basically, if they're in man, or how do they show cover two, or how do they show cover four, cover three, or do they roll one high, start two high, show two, roll one. Basically, in those things of nature, and how like the nickels come down on the slot. Because I play slot and outside receiver, so you study the cornerbacks and the nickels and safeties and stuff in that area. So that's basically how I prep myself. And I basically see how if they play aggressive, do they shadow cover? Do they like bail technique? Things of those natures. What's their weaknesses as far as like what coverage do they get beat on the most? How do they show those or disguise those coverages? Is there ways to attack those coverages to where they, throw them off a little bit? So that's basically how I prep myself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. So are you more of a guy that lets your play do the talking or are you more of a trash talker when it comes to making plays?
Uh, I'm not really like a trash talker, but I mean, like I said, I'm 5'9", so I got some dog in me. I got a lot of dog in me. That's what kind of sets me aside from a lot of people. So I got a lot of heart. So I don't really talk that much unless I'm spoken. Like you speak to me, but it's like if I'm beating you throughout the game, it's nothing for me to respond to. It's like the game gonna show itself. Like, hey, you talking trash, but I'm catching 90-yard catches and finishing the game with 230 yards or 120 yards. So it's like I don't really have too much to talk about. I let my game do the talking, basically.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, this is a good question. Why you choose number 4?
Um, so I started. My favorite number was number 1 throughout my life, or whatever. I changed to like 7. Most of these like family numbers from like the small town, like I was saying. But once I got to Texas, I was just like, man, I don't really care what number I get. But my area code, Cleveland, Tennessee area code is 423 or whatever. So I'm just like, man, it's 4 open, and they was like, yeah, because that's the lowest number that was available at the time. So I'm like, yeah, I just grabbed 4. That was basically what I went with.
Oh yeah, I mean you can't go wrong with that choice. I mean it's something to stick with. I mean, guess speaking of a nickname, man, what's your nickname in football?
K9.
Oh, okay, that's kind of a catchy one. So you're more of a dog, like the way you kind of describe it. So
Yeah, or like me and my other brother, my cousin, whatever. He plays at UCLA. We came up with like this thing in high school named Zubac. So some people call us like Zubacks. You know how you say like LeBron is the GOAT, or like players like that and things of those natures. Those players like that are like freak athletes. Basically, that's what Zubac is. So we just go with that and promote that.
oh, yeah, absolutely. So what kind of offense did you guys run in East Texas, and what kind of skill set would fit you at the next level?
We ran more like a zone read, like RPO offense. A lot of zone dives, reading off to like the glances and out routes and rollouts and yeah, those type of plays and stuff like that. So I feel like going into a offense more, because the game is kind of changing into like the same thing that the Chiefs run, or Andy Reid style offense, and that's basically the type of player that I would fit into for any offense. So yeah, I feel like that's the bread and the butter. But I could play any style of offense, as far as like pro style or however it is.
All right. I mean, at least you're very capable of playing that kind of offense. I think a lot of teams still do that offense, so it should fit into your skill set. Okay, if you can catch a touchdown from a NFL quarterback, passer, or present, who would it be?
If I said present, I would say Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
In the past, I would say Michael Vick.
Those are two similar skill sets, to be honest. I mean, when I look at Lamar Jackson, I look exactly how I look at Vic, but I think Lamar is just at a more advanced as a passer than Vic is at that early part.
Right. Most definitely.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with it. So is there like a favorite team you grew up watching that you would love to play for, or does it not matter what team you play for?
My favorite team growing up, I never really had one, but ones that I like stuck to, the Seahawks when Marshawn Lynch was there. Uh, I like the Panthers. That's when they had Steve Smith. Uh, that's also a person I mimic my game after too, when he played for the Panthers. Uh, Trying to think. Yeah, those pretty much the only teams I really looked at. And then the
I guess
Chiefs,
you're
of course,
just going with the flow, whatever team drafts you. But I guess you had a little
yeah,
bit of like little kind of admire of teams growing up. So I guess you just commit to whatever team takes you.
yeah. I'm not one of those like heavy, just one big fan type of guy.
Yeah. So for you having a touchdown, do you have like a celebration dance that you do or no?
Uh, we can't really celebrate that much, but one thing that I do like in practice, if I catch a touchdown or whatever, I would catch it and I would like get the ball, set it down, and I like roll it, and then I act like I'm walking it with a leash, because K9 or whatever, dog, little, for the nickname that I do. So I just roll the ball, and I walk beside it like I'm holding a leash, type deal. That's pretty much it.
I can't go wrong with that. So even as an away team, how do you deal with crowd noise just as an opponent?
Uh, I'm not gonna lie. Depending on the environment, it's kind of like when I'm in that mode. I call it Zubac mode. It's kind of like I don't really focus on nothing that's around. Everything is just, you know, tunnel vision. So I'm more focused on my assignment, focus on what I got to do to win the game, and help the offense basically or help the team overall.
Okay, so at least you're more focused. You don't let the crowd noise get in the way of you.
Nah, that's the last thing I'm thinking about because they can't do nothing to affect me from catching the ball or nothing. So I don't really focus on them.
I mean, you got to just play whatever, even with these type of circumstances. It can be challenging at times, but
Oh yeah.
who is the toughest defensive player you face, like rival or the most player who trash talked the most towards you?
Uh, the hardest, I would say, I never really faced a DB that could just not like stop me from getting open or catching the ball. But my freshman year, we played Clemson. I think it's Isaiah Simmons, or I'm not sure how to say his
You
name.
mean the linebacker, right? Simmons?
Yeah. He was a safety at Clemson, so he played like nickelback. He'll come down and play press, and then he'll move to linebacker. He played a little bit of safety. Yeah, so he was guarding me a little bit that game, but it wasn't really a challenge. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I never really had like a tough DB that would really like that ever like stop me or whatever, and things of those nature.
So you kind of been more. So you kind of not dealt with too much challenges, I guess. I mean, it's
Yeah,
kind of been like. So the game's gotten slower for you, right?
what like a lot slower, especially coming from like Charlotte. And Charlotte, we wasn't even in a big conference, but when I got to like East Texas and like stuff like that, it really wasn't that hard of like a a change. I mean, in practice we competed though. I would say for the team I was on at Commerce, the two defensive players that were the three defensive players that was hard for me was Kendall Paul, which is in the draft right now. He's getting a lot of buzz, I guess. And Max Epps was good competition in practice. Um, and also Jordan Pope played for Texas State right now. We competed a lot in practice.
Yeah, those two guys that you mentioned on your team, I believe Max is going to be the one I'm getting later today. But yeah, he kind of has that. He has good speed also, and you guys have like was it like the face Max Epps? Does he make you better as a competitor?
Yeah, we put in a lot of work. I came from a higher level, but like I said, they've been in Texas football most of their life, so they gotta know how to compete. But just Max Epps, his awareness skills is good, and his ability to like to know the game and know offenses and being at the right spot at the right time is just good. So like he taught me how to like read zones, and he's not more of like a speed guy, but he just knows how to put his body in the right place. So
Yeah,
like
he's a crafty kind of player from watching his tape. Like even though he's not a big corner or anything like that, but he knows when to make the plays.
yeah, he knows the game, and that's basically if you know the game, you kind of got to step over talent. Like I said, it's only 10% talent, 90% mental. If you
Yeah,
can mix
that's
that
true.
that mental over talent and put it together, it really doesn't matter about how fast you are. 4.7, 4.3, 4.2. Like I said, you take the right angle, put yourself in the right spot. The football is football at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So has any other NFL players have reached out and give you some advice for the next level?
So yeah, I talked to Drake Rodriguez. He plays for the Vikings now. He just give me advice like keep my head up and stuff like that, keep me motivated, just keep praying, talk to God and stuff like that. I talked to DB from Dallas Cowboys. He DM'd me with just like congratulations on your pro day and stuff like that. And I think he's from Chattanooga, Tennessee, around my area. So he was like, whenever he comes back, we can get some work in. And I just told him like, yeah, man, iron sharpens iron, and let's get to work. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
pretty.
absolutely. So even though I sit outside of football for you as a person, but what's like your hobbies or your favorite food or sports or other stuff?
My favorite food is like I love Hispanic food. I love Mexican food. I love like being from Tennessee. We're outdoors a lot, so like I like outdoor activities. Going to the river, going fishing. Going hiking and stuff like that. Going on like adventures, little like little events, stuff like that. I also like making music. Like music is it's pretty cool. I don't really put music out there or like just heavy in the studio, but like I just play around on some stuff like a little home recording or hop on a few little beats just to play around. But I love music though. I can say
Oh
that.
yeah, who doesn't? I mean, music kind of either motivates you or keeps you calm in certain ways. So,
Yeah.
but as far as Mexican food, you can't go wrong with that kind of food. I mean, if you ever go to the Niners or the Rams or Chargers in California, they got the best Mexican food. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Well, I mean, you must have tried the Tex Mex and all the other foods, so they're
Yeah,
pretty good too. But I'm just saying from perspective because I was born in Texas and I would know the difference too. But California's got a little bit something on a different level.
for real. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, one of the guys even said, "I'll have to take your word for this one." I mean, but in all seriously, man, whatever happens from here on out, man, I'm rooting for you to succeed, and
Mhm.
hopefully you get your opportunity to shine and make the most out of it, man. Because all those years in college is going to pay off. So, what do you take away from all those years in college that you can improve going into the NFL that you can get better at?
Far as just like I said, it was kind of like an uphill battle with up and downhill battle with like financial and being like an athlete. We have to take care of our body like heavily. So depending on the program I was at, the resources limited from from Charlotte to this to that. So like I would say just taking care of my body, and my mental. Because I was kind of hard on myself, being a father. I wasn't just always thinking about me. Like, once I go home or off campus to my house or whatever, 'cause I lived off campus most of the time. So once I get back to my room, I would just, get in my thoughts far as just like, man, I'm just, part of the process, and the process it can get, up and down, up and down. So I would just say far as like taking care of my mental. Cause like I said, athletic wise, I was always strongest, fastest, quickest. And when it came, I never let it affect my game though. That's one thing I can say. Once it came towards game time or practice, I would always just perform. That kind of like was my outlet. Football was my outlet. Like that kept my mind off of just things that I couldn't control. So I would just say like just keeping myself sharp and ready to go. Cause that's kind of far. That's kind of the main thing for me is just staying ready, staying consistent.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we'll answer a couple more of these rapid fire questions from Grandizer. Let's see. Do you know like the song of East Texas A&M's like little fight song or no?
Nah, I don't. I'm not gonna sit here and say I do. Nah, I don't know it.
Yeah. Sorry, Grandizer. I don't think he probably knows it, but I think he kind of put the song for it. I think he put like a real lucky the lion cheer growl for us or show that you care or something. I don't know. Like
Yeah, I know it. No, don't get me wrong. I know it, but I just don't know it to where it's like, hey, say the song, and I would be like, I can't say off the top of my head, but like after the games or whatever, we'll say it or whatever or sing it, and I would
uh,
just catch along with it because I was only there for 1 year.
oh
So
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all good, man. We don't have it on our head all the time, but does this feel surreal or does this feel like business as usual? Like when it comes to you just like, hey man, I'm gonna make it at this point.
right now, like I said, competition wise, as far as like the moment building up, I don't really get too like too like anxious or whatever. Like it's normal. I've been playing football since I was 4 years old, so it's like football is football to me. I'm just ready for like I'm just ready to get to work. I'm ready to be in like a set franchise organization to where I can just get around and get comfortable and get to work with the players. So it's like it's not really like a big moment as far as like being nervous or something like that. I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm
you're ready
ready.
for the opportunity for sure. So
Look,
one
That's
last
what
question.
that's what I've
So
been doing my whole life.
oh yeah, it's been like your whole life for the opportunity because you said you did this since you were 4, and it's been that thing since then. So
Yeah.
we all got dreams, man. So all right, one last question, and we'll end it on a high note. So if you can have a meal with one celebrity, alive or dead, who would it be?
One celebrity. Mm, LeBron James.
Ooh, yeah, he's still at the top of his game, even at 40 years old. Can't go
Right.
wrong. Yeah, that's a good choice. But yeah, dude, definitely appreciate your time, bro. I know that this journey is just gonna be worth it, man. All that hard work you put in all those years, man, it's gonna finally pay off, man. So whatever team comes to mind, definitely rooting for you to succeed. So whether it's with San Francisco or those other 31 teams, man, just make the most of your opportunities, what I would say, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Whatever opportunity comes, I'm gonna take advantage of it.
Oh yeah, for
And this is
sure.
actually like my second or third interview that I've ever done. So, I'm getting myself ready for the media as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So for everybody else, where can they find your social media platform?
You can find me at Micaleous Elder 9 on Instagram, and then on Twitter, Micaleous Elder 1.
Oh yeah, for sure. So for everybody else, this is East Texas A&M wide receiver Micaleous Elder, man. This guy is a gadget, man. Whatever he does, man, he makes plays. You can use him in different ways, man. This is a secret weapon that they got in Texas, in East Texas, by the way.
Yes,
But in
sir.
all seriously, man, I wish you luck. And for everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in.